Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. Well, some of you know that on Tuesday, January 28th, I'm going to be evicted from my business and my home. And it's nothing that I did, it's what my partners did. And so I am transitioning back to homelessness here on Oakland streets. I've been working with this partnership. And here's the thing, I myself, I don't like partnerships in business. This is like the fourth one, and this is the fourth time that they collapsed. And the business partners, they own the building, or not, they don't own this building, but they own the business lease. And so they brought me in, and they used me. They really used me to get through all the politics, the licensing, the inspections, because I'm highly familiar with the Oakland process, state processes, and even federal processes for inspections and approvals. And so anyway, in the two and a quarter years that I've been here housed and running this business, I was the silent partner. So I really didn't have a whole lot of say. The two partners, they paid the bills. They come and check to see what's going on, things like that. And they got jammed up a few times and didn't pay the electrical bills. And you say, well, how much can an electrical bill be? Well, electrical bills for an aquaculture is substantial. That, in fact, that's why the business was based on a computer AI modeling. Literally, it was all run by the computers. The livelihoods of the livestock, the white shrimp, was all based upon the computer running everything, checking the filters, and letting us know when things needed to be addressed. So there were 3 rounds of livestock that were completely killed off and became fertilizer, literally, because there was no heat to keep them alive. They died. And because the water temperature needs to be a specific temperature, once it drops below 60 degrees, the shrimp go dormant and then they die. And that's what happened 3 times. And so we're talking about nearly a $25,000 loss on each of those events. So, and then leading up to that, they didn't give me notice on much here, because they received the bills and everything. But you folks are probably, again, saying, well, how bad can the electric bill be? Well, during the winter months, our PG&E went to $34,000. $34,000 for a 2-month period. So that's a substantial amount of energy use. And that's because we had to heat the building, run the pumps, and all the mechanics and that go on behind the scenes, along with lighting and everything else. So $34,000 electric bill is substantial. And then the other thing, I've been out the past couple of days looking at which site I'm going to look at. I looked at this one site here, so I'm going to show you this one. Okay, so you see the site that I looked at this morning. It's a big open lot. It's a lot that's actually owned by Caltrans, but the city of Oakland helps to maintain that property, picking up the litter, garbage, leaves, and things like that. So that's one of the first places that I looked at. It's not too far from where I'm at right now. It's an easy transition over there. But here's the thing. I'm going to be running a solar generator. So what I need is the maximum amount of sunlight across the day, starting in the morning and then as much sunlight until the evening. So this site has a lot of problems with getting sunlight. I would perhaps have to use a bifacial solar panels in order to still generate electricity even in shade, because you see that this is early morning. That's shade right there already hitting it, and by 2 o'clock in the afternoon that area is completely shaded and no sun. And so that's why the bifacial solar panels would be helpful. So but the solar generator is important for my medical needs. As you know, a lot of you know that back on October 24th, the business here was taken over, robbed. I was beaten, and so you still see the injury from my cheek from October 24th. They broke that by kicking me in the head, and so I'm suffering some brain traumas right now. I'm going through rehab. Also, I'm dealing with new PTSD and new depression, and so it's been a struggle here, but I have to move on. And this is the third time. This will be my third transition to living homeless on Oakland streets. First time, I had no choice. I didn't have anywhere to go, and the thing that I can say is that out of the last two times that I had to go back onto the street, I had to live on the street, there were a lot of lessons learned. And so the third time, which is coming up here, the transition, there's a game plan in place. And once I get things up and rolling, I'm going to be able to show you a lot of the benefits of the tiny homes. Well, not the tiny homes, but the micro homes that I've been talking about, because the micro homes have all of the components that I'm going to be putting into my new street shelter. And the only difference is that the outer shell will be a steel and steel outer and steel framing. So it's fireproof, weatherproof, windproof, pretty much everything proof. And it has doors. We'll install windows. In fact, I'm going to show you the model, the cost, and the cost is pretty reasonable for this. And if you add in the solar generator, water, and everything else, we're talking about $16,000 to $18,000 for all the interior components to make it livable. But the outer shell, we're only looking at $9,000. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So you see the cabins that I'm talking about, arch cabins. They're steel exterior, steel framing, and they have insulation on the inside, an R25. And so these are homes that are very affordable. They're quick to put up. I even have secured a site through Caltrans close by, a 20-acre site to complete an unhoused settlement. And so rather than calling them a place for unhoused, these are micro home settlements. And the micro home settlements in the proposed plan that I have will hold up to 500 of these single family homes. And the reason why we have to go with this is because the restrictions that are placed on anything that goes on that community land trust property cannot be built more than 2 stories tall, meaning cannot exceed 25 feet in height. And then also the property has to be developed with underground sewer, water. All the homes are going to have a solar generator, and there'll be off-grid power. And so that's what makes living outdoors a whole lot easier. A lot of the new things that have hit the market, solar generators, while they're somewhat expensive and expensive, can be very expensive, they are much cheaper to operate than a gas or propane generator. Whereas a generator, you're going to be spending, you're going to put in at least 3 gallons of fuel every day. So right now at about $4.50 a gallon, you're looking at $12, $13, $14 a day. So trying to maintain that is very difficult. And believe me, there were years where I had a gas generator, and I would spend typically $100 a week just to keep it running so that I had electricity. And so at night I wouldn't run it. Some people do, I didn't, because that helped conserve some of the cost of fuel, which was expensive then and it's more expensive now. But also I'm going to be adding in a hot water heater. And you say, hot water heater? Yes, it's propane, and it operates with a battery. You can heat up water up to 140 degrees very easily. I had one of these. In fact, I'm going to show you the setup right now. Okay, so you see the sink, and just off to the side, you see the bottom portion of the hot water heater. And the hot water heater uses the propane gas to heat up the water, and I can either shower with it or I can wash dishes. And you're saying, well, where does the water come from? Well, I have, on that particular one, I had a 50-gallon water storage tank. And so I had to fill it up daily, because 50 gallons doesn't go very far. I'm looking at creating a 100-gallon storage container so that I can go every other day with water. But transitioning to living on the street is easier than it was in the past. I'm not looking forward to it. I have money, folks. I do have money to get off the street, but my money is in a foundational trust, and to get money out of that, there's a process to get out of that. One of the ways that I can get money out is saving my receipts and filing a reimbursement claim to my trust. Another one for large dollar, like renting an apartment or getting an apartment. This is a longer process because number one, I have to find the place. Number two, I have to get all the information so that I can put it into documentation to submit to my trust, and then the trust contacts the landlord, creates the lease and the payment, everything. And so everything's handled for me. And I really don't do anything, but I have to initiate all of the processes and paperwork. It's not like me going down to the bank and drawing money out. No. Trusts are set up to protect the beneficiary and from fraud, from theft, from a lot of different things. And so that's why my money is in a foundational trust. And access to that money is much more difficult, but it protects me from being scammed or becoming a financial fraud victim. So anyway, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be taking some time off here while I create the new shelter, which is most likely going to be ending up back on 77th Avenue, my former sanctuary homeless site. City of Oakland does really nothing down there. There's no bathroom, there's no wash stations, there's nothing down there anymore. That's why I have to create my own everything. I don't need a toilet because I have a colostomy bag, so my waste goes into that. Urine is not a problem. Hasn't been for quite some time, but I'll have to get tools so that I can access the fire hydrant again. And you say, well, why are you? Because I actually put in place back in 2021 with EB Mud the ability to draw water from the fire hydrant with the proper equipment. And so I know what the proper equipment is. It's getting a hydrant wrench, the hydrant adapter, and a length of hose to attach to that adapter, and that way I can draw safely. But also the RV water filter. There's a water filter that goes on that adapter, and it filters out all the harmful toxins plus lead in the water. So I'll have safe drinking water for myself to cook, to wash my body with, to drink, and everything else. I'm hoping that the transition here on the street will be short-lived, but I can't plan on anything because there's a lot of things going on in the housing portion of Oakland, and so I have to go look for housing, and I'm going to be looking at rentals to start with, as City of Oakland does not want long-term permanent settlements, which is something that I have already available to the city, and we can start this and set it up in a moment's notice because the contracts are signed, the paperwork is signed, all of the requirements are fulfilled, and so the project can move ahead very quickly, and we don't even need environmental impact report in EIR because these are exempted from that. And I 100% would live in this particular settlement because you see the type of homes that I'm offering for this particular project. And perhaps if I stay out long enough on the Oakland streets, I may be able to purchase one and put one together. But financially, this has been very draining. I have lived on my Social Security. That's how I pay my bills, buy my food, take care of my dog, take care of my needs. But there's not enough income to pay for rent out of my Social Security. But my trust can pay for that and all the bills associated with that. But that all has to be set up through the foundational trust, through the people in charge of my money. So anyway, hopefully that sheds some light on what's happening here. I'm also going to post the link for my GoFundMe if you would like to help me raise funds, crowdfunding, to make my transition easier because this is expensive. When I was burned out back in 2022, I lost $16,000 of equipment and possessions. And a lot of that was the solar and electrical. You see the hot water heater, my microwave. I mean, I literally lost everything, $16,000. And what my GoFundMe is asking for is $10,000. And that covers all of the components that I've been talking about: propane tanks, water lines, storage. The storage containers are very expensive because they have to be made out of special materials so that water remains potable, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, that's what's going on. I'm going to be not available while I build out my new shelter over on 77th Avenue. I know the folks over there already, and they know me, so it's not like I don't know anybody over there. I know everybody. I've been talking with the tow company who took over the recently vacated Lakeside Recycling. So now Atlas Towing is in there, and we're on friendly terms. So thanks for joining me today. I'll see you when I see you once I made the transition into the streets. If you can help me with the GoFundMe, please consider donating to the cause. This is my third time heading out onto the city of Oakland streets. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be back sometime soon, hopefully.